Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today I'm going to be looking at the brand new decks from Scarlet and Violet. That's right, let's see, how much can you see of this? Okay, you can see the screen. Yeah, Pokemon just released Scarlet and Violet, or did not. I don't know if it's released at the time of this being out, but it should be within a few hours, assuming they did it right. They messed up a rotation, so it doesn't give me high hopes for this, but these are the decks that will be coming to live in very, very soon. So yeah, there's a few of them. I think there's 8, and some are new decks. Most of them aren't new decks, but they're all obviously rotation. They survive rotation, and so we see 8 decks here. 2 EXs, 3 V star, 4 V stars, a VMAX, and a single prize deck. We see Arcanine EX, Giratina V Star, which is with the Lost Zone, Koraidon EX, Lunatone and Solrock, Origin Form Dalga V-Star, Origin Form Palkia V-Star, Regieleki VMAX, and Serperior V-Star. So first of all, one thing, PSA, don't migrate. Like, obviously, live is not in a good spot, so if you do it, it's not good. I might do it if I have to, but I'd highly recommend you don't if you can avoid it. Obviously, there's not too much going on PTCGO either, so it makes it feel kind of bad to stay there, but I'd recommend just play live, but don't migrate yet. And you can play these free decks. I don't know what the free decks are on the ladder, but if I had to guess, it's going to be Gardevoir EX and Miraidon EX. So if it's not, then that's unfortunate, but it'll probably be those. But let's hop into this and take a look at the new decks. First of all, we have Arcanine EX. And it doesn't show any of the... Oh, no, it shows like snapshots of the cards here. But it doesn't show the whole card, so that's unfortunate. Anyway, so Arcanine EX has like a revenge style attack. Has more damage for each damage counter on it. And then it also has an attack that does like 250 for 3. And then it can not attack next turn. No, you need to discard energy. So it's very similar to Reshiram and Charizard, except it's kind of similar attacks, but it's not a basic, no welder. So instead, this deck chooses to play, obviously it's going to be playing a Magma Basin. I think, yeah, it plays Magma Basin, it should. It does not play Raihan. I'd highly recommend you play that, but it does play EXP Share, so you can preserve energy in that way. Oh, no, it does play Raihan, yeah. And then it plays a 3/3 Arcanine EX line, and then very importantly in this list, which is very unique, it plays the Charmander Charizard from Pokemon Go, which doubles, and it says here it doubles the energy provided by a fire energy. So if you have 2 fire energy, you can pay the 3 energy attack cost, and I believe if your attack requires you to discard 2 energy, you can just discard a singular fire energy. Now, this is kind of interesting. Obviously, it's a bit clunky with a 2/1/2 stage 2 line. It's kind of hard to get set up, but you do play Rare Candy, of course. You run 3 in this list. And I'll talk about the search options and some of the new cards in this list as well. We see the Heatmore here, which is a very powerful Pokemon, requires a bunch of energy, but kind of interesting. It can do like big snipe. We see Moltres as well, which is pretty cool, which just does... It's a very easy poke-style Pokemon. It's a bit awkward. You need to have damage counters on it, but it's a very solid one. Radiant Charizard, an obvious inclusion in any fire deck, just being very powerful, although I wouldn't despise Radiant Heatran in this list either. And then a 2/2 Barrel line, allowing you to just draw cards. And of course, with a card like Ultra Ball, that thins your hand down. In terms of supporters, we see Research, Arven, Boss, Raihan, and Clara. Clara, to recover your Pokemon, could be very useful, depending how your opponent targets your Pokemon, although it's not searchable, so that's a bit iffy. And then we see Boss, just a very good support to Gust. And we also have Rope for Pseudo Gusting, and of course, switching as well. And then we see 4 Research, which is just like the best supporter in the game, probably. And then we also see 3 Arven here, which is an interesting supporter. Not one I'm a big fan of, but it does provide value in this list, allowing you to search for an item in a tool. So we do play EXP Share and 2 EXP Share and 1 Defiance Band, which does 30 more if you're down on prizes. I don't think you have enough value out of the tool search with Arven, but of course you can search for any item, including Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, Energy Search, Escape Rope, and most importantly, Rare Candy, allowing you to set up your Charizard. So I think it's moderately okay in this list. I don't love it. I'd probably actually rather see Peony in this list, but I don't hate it either. And then we see Magma Basin here as well to, as I said, accelerate energy. Pretty straightforward. Let's see, what do they say? More pain, more gain, because it does, I guess, more damage for each damage counter on it. That's all the stuff I've said. And this is having a good time with Arven. Yes, I was looking at this article before. And why do they have to make this title so like sus? Having a good time with Arvin, that just sounds. Nah, Pokemon, don't do this. Don't do this. Anyways, yeah, it's not that good, but it's not awful. And it says, yeah, you're very candy. I can grab Ultra all EXP share. It's certainly fine. I don't despise in this list. I don't love it though either. I'd probably rather see like Judge. I think every deck, if it can fit in, should probably be playing Judge. At least one. It's just a good card. And then this list. So I'd say the Arcanine EX list is okay. It's nothing great, but it's kind of okay. You could play it on a ladder. You won't get smoked all the time. But nothing great. I'd recommend. There's a new Armor Rouge line as well, which I think could be a nice addition to the list. Then looking here at Giratina V-Star, aka Lost Box Giratina, which is what many people would call it. You can use Comfy's ability and Close Experiment to put cards in your Lost Zone and draw you cards. That's the basic idea of any Lost Zone deck. And also, this is the first time I believe that we're getting a Lost Zone deck for free, which is super. Wait, is it? I realize that might not be true. I don't know what decks did they give out before? They gave out Hisuian Zoroark with V-Star, but I don't remember. I think this is the first time we're getting Lost Box for free, which is pretty cool. And I say for free, I don't really know what that means because it's all free. You can't even spend money, really. But yeah, you can get Lost Zone here. So Comfy is super good with Close Experiment to put cards in your Lost Zone. And then it says you can use Cramorant to attack for free. So yeah, that's very good. You have the idea of Comfy. You say it plays 4 Comfy, 4 Close Experiment. And this is already a solid-looking deck list. Oh, I was looking at some more of the cards. It's not looking amazing, but it's okay. You see a 2/2 Giratina, which can hit 280, which is very strong, obviously. It's a V-Star. It's very powerful and can instant KO anything if you have 10 cards or more in your Lost Zone with its V-Star power. And then you can also, if you have 10 or more cards in your Lost Zone, use Sableye to spread damage counters around for 1 Psychic Energy, which is very good. Cramorant, as they said before, attacks for free if you have 4 cards in the Lost Zone, so you're an early game attacker. And Snorlax from Lost Origin also, which does, I believe, 180 damage. It's decently tanky. And you can power it up with, where is it? Mirage Gate. It plays 4 Mirage Gate, which is very important as well. I hope it talks about, okay, that's just the same stuff we said before. What does, okay, yeah, the same Cramorant and Snorlax together do 290, which is true. But yeah, pretty generic stuff here. But then you can power up Mirage Gate to power up Giratina V-Star, which is 3 energy, and Snorlax, which is also 3 energy. Mirage Gate accelerates 2 different types of energy from your deck, so you run 6 basic grass, 6 basic psychic, and 1 basic water. One thing that this list really wants is Radiant Greninja. I don't know if they provide it in here. I'm gonna go search. Yeah, it's in this Lunarock list. It's also in the Palkia list. Okay, I don't know why Radiant Greninja is not put into this Lost Box list, but you generally want to play. You're going to try to drop the grass energy by like 2 and add like 2 water or something. Maybe drop a psychic as well. I'm not overly familiar with this list post-rotation, but this is a very solid list. I'm not a big fan of the Gardenias. That's probably not going to work very well. Gardenia's Vigor here. Replace this with a supporter like Judge, another Boss's Orders, a very solid Serena, or Roxanne. I think any of those are valid. Also, the Thornton's a bit questionable, but not awful. And everything else here looks all right. It plays 4 cross switchers, so you don't necessarily need the boss. Not a big fan of the cross switcher, but it is what it is. And it also plays Beach Court, a stadium that reduces the 2 cost of your basic Pokemon by 1. Super powerful in Lost Box, replaces a card like Air Balloon. Keep in mind you are losing Escape Rope, or sorry, not Escape Rope, you are losing Scoop Up Net, so you can't switch as much, but we do see 4 Switch, 4 Rope, 4 Cross Switcher, 2 Beach Court, so you can switch a lot still in this list. So overall, yeah, this deck's very solid. There are some changes I'd make. I'd recommend you try this list. You figure out what changes you want. But overall, this is pretty good. And it's certainly worth playing. So definitely try it out. And yeah, this next list here, Koraidon EX. This list is on one of the new decks in addition to Arcanine EX. Koraidon EX is not amazing, but it's certainly alright. Its ability accelerates fighting energy from your discard pile, but ends your turn, it says here. And then its attack, if you're familiar with Zacian V or Miraidon EX, it's the same thing. 220 and ends your turn. I don't remember its attack cost. It probably shows on here. Okay, it's fighting, colorless. So that's perfectly fine. And it's a solid Pokemon. You do need the energy in the discard pile. You can get this in the discard pile with a few cards I'll talk about later, but it's certainly pretty consistent. I mean, not super consistent, but it's good enough. Then we see this. Let's play Great Tusk EX. I'm not overly familiar with Great Tusk. I think it hits 250, and it does damage to yourself. It's a tempo-based attacker, I'd say. It just hits solid damage. Nothing overly impressive, but is another option to Koraidon. I think it's fine. And then we also see two different Lucarios. Lucario from Brilliant Stars accelerates energy from itself to itself from the deck. And so that's just amazingly powerful. And then this other Lucario here is a very powerful counterattack if one of your Pokemon is knocked out. I believe you hit 160 for 1, which is just so good. And I really love this in the list. So it's kind of fun. And then it also plays a 2/2 Reveroom engine, which it says here you discard. You need to discard an energy from your hand to use this card, which is nice. It works with Koraidon, although Koraidon you generally want to be using its ability turn 1, but don't get too worried about that. And then you can draw until you have 6 cards in hand after you discard. So it's kind of like the Barrel or Radiant Green Ninja, draws a solid chunk of cards. And this list runs 12 energy. That's pretty solid. In an energy search, so you should be able to get this off enough of the time. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of Reveroom, but certainly valid to be putting in the list. And then also runs a Diancie, which can't be gusted around, I guess, with the idea that you're going to be sticking Diancie in the active, powering up Koraidon, so you have to like Koraidon EX turn 2, which isn't great with its ability. That's not awful. I do think Raihan would be good in this list again. Raihan's just a very good card, and probably another one of these Lucarios. But overall, I think the list is pretty cool. In terms of supporters, we see research again. So you will be getting absurd amounts of research. Maybe, I don't know exactly how it works if you like get all the cards. I mean, I know you get the cards, but I don't know if you get research like 6 times for each deck, but we'll see. And then you get 2 Arven again. As I said, I'm not a big fan of Arven. This list does play Rock Chestplate, though, which reduces your damage you take. Lake Acuity also does, so I think Arven has solid value here, and obviously reducing damage is just very good. We also see this list of running Grant, increasing the amount of damage you do, and also, very importantly, allowing you to discard cards from your hand in order to recover it from your hand. Let's see, is it in any of these images? It is not in any of these images, but that's fine. Let's run Clara again. I guess the go-to recovery card. You could also play Miriam, but Clara is certainly fine. Boss Orders. Obviously, it's just very good. Also, what order is this in? I don't really know. But we see Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, just the go-to trainers. We see Trekking Shoes as an additional engine card, but then we also, which is kind of weird. I don't exactly know why it's in the list, but I guess it's like a tempo, quote-unquote, tempo style deck. It makes sense. And then very importantly, I guess it also has a little bit of synergy here with Gutsy Pickaxe, which says you look at like the top card of your deck, and it can accelerate if it's a fighting energy. There's no way of guaranteeing this in this style, in this deck, but it's certainly an okay card, which is allowing you to get through your deck a little faster and also hitting an energy here and there. And then it said Lick Acuity and Rock Chestplate reduce the damage you take, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all it talks about. Yeah. I feel like you don't want to use Dino Cry, which is Koraidon's ability, after the first turn in the game. It's not awful, but it's not great, as you're going to be losing tempo here. So that's something to note. Now we have Lunatone and Solrock, often referred to as Lunarock or just Lunatone. And if you don't know what Lunatone does, it does 30 plus 30 for each psychic energy attached to it. You do need 3 energy attached to it, but that's fine. And we see this list playing 11 psychic. I honestly wouldn't despise more psychic in this list. This list is choosing to run higher counts of Fog Crystal, though, so that's fine. And then the way you power this up is with Solrock. Each Solrock accelerates a psychic energy from the discard pile to one of your Lunatones, which is very powerful. If you have 4 Solrocks, you can just power up Lunatone after Lunatone after Lunatone, hitting for large quantities of damage. I'd say most people would agree with the fact that and would consider Lunatone Solrock a weaker version of the Lost Box deck, as it has less versatility and less power as well, most likely. Although the Lost Zone deck is losing some of its more powerful options, notably in the form of Rayquaza Amazing Rare, Raikou Amazing Rare, and a few other cards. But all in all, Lunatone Solrock's a pretty solid deck here, and it also has Mewtwo V-Star, which is interesting here. They do have Mewtwo V-Star, but it's too small to see. So for Mewtwo V-Star, it does, 90 damage for, you can discard up to 3 psychic energy attached to your Pokemon any way you want. Oh, also, I've not seen the new energies. The new energies look pretty solid, but let's not get too distracted here. Mewtwo V-Star, obviously allowing you to discard energies from any of your Pokemon, including Lunatone, so you could get it off of Lunatone, accelerate it back on next turn, and do it over and over. Mewtwo V-Star's health isn't massive, but isn't weak either, so hopefully you live a turn. And then we also see Radiant Greninja here to get the Psychic Energies and then discard, which I talked about earlier. But the Mewtwo V-Star also has a V-Star power that like spreads damage. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. But overall, I don't think this deck is super good, but I don't think you'll hate playing it. It's kind of cool and kind of fun. We also see this list running Level Ball to search out your Lunatones and Solrocks. I think Level Ball, or I think Nest Ball is like directly better. So I don't actually, or it's not directly better, but it's almost directly better in this list. And I think Fog Crystal is probably better as well, but it is what it is. Plenty of basic search here, though, and 2 Hisuian Heavy Ball as well. Is that the first Hisuian Heavy Ball we've seen? I don't really know. I haven't been paying attention to the exact counts. I feel like Lost Box kind of wants Hisuian Heavy Ball. So you could add that in, but at least you get it, so that's pretty cool. And then you also play Rescue Carrier to recover your Pokemon, which can be very important. Trekking Shoes for consistency, Cross Searcher for Gust. Pokestop is your stadium, allowing you to search out cards, or I guess draw cards from your deck and hopefully search them out. One problem with this, with specifically the Mewtwo V-Star, is that you hit it and then you can't get it back. It doesn't look like the list doesn't run Clara, it doesn't run Miriam, so you're not going to be able to get that back. You can obviously get back the Lunatons and Solrocks, though, with your Rescue Carrier, so that's pretty cool. And then we also see this list running Raihan, which is alright, I guess. Cynthia's Ambition, which is quite strong in this list. 4 Research, again, a staple for any deck. And then 2 Avery as a counter. I don't know what it's a counter to be honest, but it's in this list. It discards cards from your opponent's bench, and it draws 3. It's not awful, but it's not great. And let's see, anything interesting here? No. It says it can disrupt your opponent's strategy. Like, I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. It just attacks. No. They said discards energy from your Solrock. It discards energy. I'm reading the article. It says you can, Solrock's ability, once again here, helps here, allowing you to use Psy Purge for maximum damage without discarding any energy from Mewtwo V-Star, which is true. Instead, it discards energy from Solrock in play. It discards it from Lunatone in play. So yeah, that's not quite right, but they got the idea, so that's fine. And that's, what on earth is stop, drop, and roll? It's just Pokestop, drop, and roll out of the room because your deck stopped working? I don't know. Okay, we see Dialga V-Star here now, a very solid Pokemon that is losing its most powerful piece with the rotation, being Metal Saucer. So some of you may have seen my recent video, or at least the list containing Magnezone Dialga. With Lightning Pokemon, though, and more energy. So I've seen that list, and I think that's really cool. This is not that list, though. This one, I'm most concerned that it does not run a lot of attackers. Dialga traditionally does not, but I would like to see more attackers in this list, at least a 3-3 Dialga. But whatever, it's fine. They give us a 2-2, and then a really thick Magnezone line. And then a Zamazenta V from Brilliant Stars, which is fine, I guess. I don't even know its use, though, because both the Dialga V-Star and Zamazenta V are late game attackers, so it's kind of weird. I think a regular baby Zamazenta would probably be better here. It's fine, though. And this runs the Barrel Engine as well. It runs 4 Avery, 4 Arven, kind of makes sense with Rare Candy. I would like to actually see 4 Rare Candy in this list. And the tools you get, Full Face Guard and Tools Jammer, just aren't very good. So I don't love the Arven in this list. I think you need to have good value out of searching the item, but also very good value out of searching the tool. And there's not a great way to get that in this list, although I wouldn't hate a Defiant Band here. Then we see 1 Battle VIP Pass, I guess, for the Arven hit, 4 Boss for AV. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the traditional Dialga V-Star build. That's very inconsistent and kind of weird looking with not a lot of Pokemon. Or not a lot of attackers, I guess, and this is pretty much what this is doing. You want to drop the Magnezone a bit thinner, and you want to probably add some attackers or some consistency or something like that, but, it's fine. Let's see. I don't really know. What's, like, Dialga's Deja Vu and Parallel Destruction? I don't know what they're, like, talking about. They're just like making stuff up. If you don't know what Dialga V-Star does, it allows you to take an extra turn with this V-Star power and do big damage. It's good, I guess, but it's kind of weird as well. And it's more importantly very slow and inconsistent. We see Palkia V-Star, though, which is really interesting that they're choosing to give this. This deck is getting, I'd say, gutted for the rotation, as it's losing its main engine in the Inteleon engine, which has amazing synergy with it. This list does run the Radiant Greninja, which is very important, but then we see a unique package. They say Origin Form Palkia, V-Star leads the way with a powerful attack that's strengthened by both players having as many Pokemon on their bench as possible. True. Radiant Greninja can draw cards with concealed cards ability and pressures foes with its Moonlight Shuriken attack. True. You know, I read that and I was like, you know what, Pokemon, you got this. You're awesome. And then I looked at the list, and this is hot trash. Yeah, it plays Kingdra. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it plays. I've seen another more stage 2s. I don't know the difference between these horses. I've not played Kingdra, but I've not played it much anyway. The one does. The one shuffle draws, and then the one does big damage. Is kind of interesting, but it's not the best thing. And then we see, where is it? Finneon allows you to accelerate energy to Pokemon with Swim Freely. That is right. This is the Swim Freely package. If you're not familiar with that, oh boy, I'm losing my voice here. That's fine. It doesn't really matter. It's accelerates energy. It's kind of garbage though. It's not pure trash, but I can't really see this deck working. It doesn't run Iridir, it doesn't run Candace as well, which is not the best card in the game. One Melanie, one Clara. The Italian engine's so much better than the Kingdra engine with this Kingdra, which draws cards. It's not an awful card, but it's its ability is essentially the same thing as Marnie, except you only draw 4. Yeah, this list isn't very good. One Level Ball, one Nest Ball. You're not gonna get this set up. One Echoing Horn, this is way too techy. It's not very good. At least it doesn't run Arven. Iridir is very solid, but yeah, this isn't gonna work. Don't play this deck. If you do, you need to tweak it a lot. Probably cut out the Swim Freely package, or you could just play Swim Freely as well. You're certainly fine to play that, but this doesn't go all in on Swim Freely. It doesn't play you see. They're doing 100 damage with 5 energy. That's just not great. And they got the perfect hand as well. Anyways, we'll move on to Regieleki VMAX. Also, I'm losing my voice because I just recorded my video for Pokemon TCG Live where they rotated early. How do you do that? Anyways, Regieleki VMAX here, which increases the amount of damage you do with your basic Lightning Energy. Also, this Lightning Energy logo is just super cool for some reason to me. Oh, no, it's about Pachirisu. Oh, this is the biggest whiff. Okay, they might not be giving you Miraidon EX. Miraidon EX needs to be in this list. What is this? Also, I don't even know what Zero Aura this is. Oh, it does more damage to evolutions. Yeah, this Zero Aura is not particularly good. The list isn't awful, but it's kind of weird. Pachirisu does more damage for your bench Pokemon. It's not great, though. Pachirisu and Zero Aura aren't great attackers. Raikou V is a strong attacker. You could literally focus your deck on Raikou V. They place this Regieleki, which is kind of cool as well. But none of these are amazing attackers. This is a good attacker, but nothing broken. What you want to do is beef up this line, and what you want to do is add in, let's see, the previous attacker was Vikavolt V, but that rotates. So definitely just Miraidon EX. Miraidon EX is very good, a nice consistency card, and a very strong attacker. That's what you need to be playing. And I don't know why. Hopefully it's not on this list because it's going to be on the ladder. But if it's not, I'm just going to be very sad. And then we see Research, Cynthia's Ambition, Boss. So all right looking support accounts, I guess. We see Solid Pokemon Search, Electricity Generator. If you don't know, it's very similar to Max Elixir. Accelerates, and I think I covered it in the video I released yesterday or something. But it looks at the top 5. You can accelerate up to 2 Lightning to your bench Pokemon. Bench Lightning Pokemon. It's all right. Hopefully you can power up your something. I don't know. I don't really know what you want to power up because all your attacks are bad. But it's all right. It's good. It's good. We see Rope, Energy Recycler. Why on earth would you have Leafy Camo Poncho? So they can't boss your Regielekis, but they're not going to be one-shotting your Regieleki. So Leafy Camo Poncho essentially will stop your opponent from bossing your VMAXs. I think that's what it does. And is that good? It's all right, but it's mostly used if you're setting up a Pokemon to be attacked, usually because you're a main attacker, and then you want to retreat it when it already has damage. But your main attacker isn't Regieleki VMAX. So if your main attacker was another VMAX, Leaf Carapacho would be good, but it's not. So I don't know why it's in this list. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's pretty not good. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So yeah, I don't really know why. The list looks alright, but the attackers are bad. So if you want to run this, definitely swap out for some better attackers. Hopefully Miraidon's on the ladder. If Miraidon's on the ladder, just slot those right in. Remove like Zero, Pachirisu, Regilucky, whatever. Remove which ones you want. Possibly add more consistent cards as well. That's always fair. You don't need a lot of Pokemon on this list. Beef up that Regilucky line. And replace those with Miraidons, and bam, you got yourself a pretty good deck. But this list, the way it is, isn't quite good enough. Yeah, and they said all the same stuff. Yeah, I already talked about. Okay, Superior V-Star. I'm not very familiar with this. There's a reason this is the last deck. Oh, I've seen this list before, though. I saw this actually covered on Rare Candy, Eric from Rare Candy's channel, so shout out to that. It's a cool channel. But yeah, I saw this list like a while ago, and it never saw play because it's like bad. But it moves energy around when it attacks, and it has a V-Star power that does big snipe damage. And then it has Altaria. Okay, this is pretty cool. A few things to note. One, Altaria. Well, I guess, is that I'm gonna play it in my next video tomorrow. Let's go. Get hyped, everyone, for Scarlet and Violet. Like actually cool cards, because most of these aren't that cool. But yeah, this Altaria allows you to put a support on top of your deck. And also, which is going to be Gardenia's Vigor, probably. Although I would actually like to see more Gardenia's Vigor. I know no one's ever said that before, but I'm going to say that Jack. Oh, why is Jack in this list? It's not very good. But, and this other one heals you, so that's kind of cool. It's kind of weird. It's kind of to use, but it's kind of cool. And then Kricketune actually gives you more health. I believe that's the Kricketune. Kricketune V is a draw Pokemon, kind of cool. And we actually see Manaphy, Pyukumuku. Kind of interesting that they put Pyukumuku in this list. I don't know. They put Pyukumuku to draw into Altaria. That's pretty cool. I kind of like the idea of this list. Grass is just not a very good type. It's never been. Superior V-Star isn't very strong. It only plays a 2/2 line anyway. Oh, yeah, that's a big problem. You don't play a lot of attackers here. Kricketune V is not an attacker. It does allow you to draw him to Swablu. It's not awful, but not great. We do see Leafy Camo Poncho, though, that actually has value in this list, although you get 5 Leafy Camo Ponchos. Maybe it's just 3, I don't know. But then we see Switch, Nest Ball, of Ball, Ultra Ball, Boss, Raihan, Jack, Worker, Roxanne, Avery, Gardenia's Vigor, and Research. The reason you have so many different supporters is because Altaria from Evolving Skies can search them out. So that's cool. We see that the Research are obviously very good. Plays 2 Boss. I might like a 3rd Boss, or more importantly, a Serena. Avery, Worker, and I say, you can even say Raihan, and Gardenia's, and Roxanne. They're all like tech supporters, which is cool. You can get them on the turn you need it. And then Jock sets up your superiors and your Altarias. It's not great, though. I don't love Jock, but yeah, it's fine. But yeah, these are some cool decks. I'm super hyped to be playing with the new set, though. Especially because now the rotation hit, like, you can't play any decks other than, like, Mew VMAX. So, yeah, I'm excited for these, though. So comment down below which one you're the most excited for. And what you think's going to be on the ladder, although you probably already know. It might have been announced, honestly, and I just missed it. But I hope you're excited for this. I'm definitely losing my voice. I'm, like, dying over here. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you're hyped for Pokemon. Let's get it. Very excited for the new stuff. And I'm excited to see you in the next video. See ya.